Every year, millions of us watch the Super Bowl. It's the biggest stage on Earth. But what if it's also a laboratory? We've gotten our hands on a top-secret document, a blueprint that shows this global spectacle isn't really about the game. It's a meticulously planned experiment in mass control.
And you know this document, it forces you to ask a really unsettling question. When all of us, hundreds of millions of people, tune in, are we walking right into a trap we can't even see?
All right, let's get into it. What you're about to see is our analysis of this leaked blueprint for Super Bowl LX. We're going to declassify the entire three-phase plan, a plan designed specifically for February 8th, 2026.
So, where does this whole operation begin? Not in the stadium. No, it starts in your living room. Phase 1 is what the document calls the AI trap, and it's aimed squarely at the millions and millions of us watching from home.
We've all heard the crazy numbers, right? $7 million for just 30 seconds of airtime during the game? But according to this blueprint, that money isn't just about selling you a car or a soda. The real investment, the true purpose, is something way more sophisticated.
The target audience is 200 million people. Now think about that. That's not just a TV rating. That's the population of a massive country, all focused on a single screen at the exact same moment. I mean, you couldn't design more perfect conditions for an experiment.
And this is the weapon they plan to use, AI neuro-mapping. The document describes how every single commercial is pre-tested, how it's engineered with artificial intelligence to trigger a simultaneous dopamine spike in our brains. You know, dopamine, that's the chemical for pleasure, for reward. It's literally designed to make us all feel the exact same thing at the exact same time.
And look, the document doesn't pull any punches. A direct quote from the blueprint says it all. This is not advertising. It is a synchronized psychological experiment. The goal here isn't to get you to buy something. It's psychological synchronization on a scale we've never seen before. So that's the plan for everyone at home. Psychological influence beamed right through the screen. But what about the fans who are actually in the stadium? Well, for them, the plan is a lot more direct. Let's move on to Phase 2, because this is where it gets even more intense.
Phase 2 is called Safe Gate Surveillance, and this part of the blueprint details the physical tech that's going to be deployed inside Levi's stadium. It's a plan to turn the entire venue into a real-time data farm.
70,000 people. Every single fan who bought a ticket, who's there to cheer on their team. According to this plan, they're not just a fan. They're an unknowing participant in the next stage of this experiment.
The tech itself is called SafeGate. The document defines it as a stadium-wide facial recognition mesh network. Now that sounds like a security system, right? Something to keep people safe, but its real job goes way beyond that.
Here's how it works. It's a three-step process. First, the system is continuously scanning all 70,000 faces once every 30 seconds. Second, it's using AI to analyze their microexpressions, those tiny, involuntary facial twitches that reveal how we're really feeling. And finally, it flags what the document calls emotional anomalies. It's basically looking for any person or any group whose emotional state is different from the crowd.
This is a massive shift in how crowds are viewed. The blueprint says it best. For the first time, a mass crowd is being treated as a living data set. You're not a spectator anymore. You're a node of information, a data point that's constantly being read and analyzed in real time.
And that brings us to the final, and honestly, the most disturbing part of this entire plan, Phase 3, the global ritual. This is where the document just comes right out and says it. The Super Bowl isn't the end goal. It's just a dress rehearsal. This timeline reveals the true scope of the ambition here. Look at it. February 2026 is explicitly labeled the Super Bowl LX prototype. And the real objective? The Smart City rollout, planned for 2030. They're testing the tech in a stadium now so they can implement it everywhere later. And what's the goal? Well, here it is, stated plainly. To manage all future mass gatherings. We're talking concerts, protests, political rallies, all of it, controlled through invisible AI layers. The whole idea is to build systems that can predict, influence, and ultimately control how crowds behave across an entire city. So when you piece it all together, all three phases, you see that this blueprint isn't really about one football game. It's about perfecting a system of control so subtle, so pervasive, that it's completely invisible.
So, let's just recap what we've uncovered. Phase 1 turns millions of viewers at home into a massive psychological test group. Phase 2 transforms the crowd inside the stadium into a living, breathing data set. And Phase 3 uses the whole event as a test run, a prototype for global systems of control.
This blueprint from the near future leaves us with one final, critical question. The tools of control are no longer chains or walls. They're algorithms and data streams. So, when the very mechanisms of control become invisible, how can you ever really be sure that you're free?